In this next video, I want to talk to you about a new section called side tabs. The side tabs are over here. So we're away from these shortcut menus with all these shortcut icons at the top. But we're going to start looking down the left-hand side. It can switch from the left-hand side to the right-hand side by going to these double arrows. And as you're teaching, if you switch sides of the board, it might be nice to switch that as you walk across, so you can still reach all the buttons from the other side. Or if you have a preferred side that you like to use, it's very easy to switch the sides right there. But I'm going to go back up the top, and the first tab on the side tab is called the page sorter. The page sorter right here basically allows you to see all your pages. So similar to like PowerPoint, where you can see all your slides, you can see all your pages of your presentation. You can click them and drag them to different locations to reorder them. Very easy to do that. You can do the little drop down menu on any of them, and you can clone them, rename them, delete them, copy, cut, paste, all these things that are very easy. You can set the background color, you can do that from here. So those are the types of things you can do from the page sorter. So it basically lets you manage your pages of your presentation. Another thing I like to look at here and show you, and it's not just on page sorter, it's actually on all of these tabs, but I'll stay on page sorter for now. At the very bottom it says auto hide, and teachers will turn this on and not realize what it does, and then get flustered later. It's like, where did all my pages go, right? I had all these pages here and I can't get them back. All you have to do is go back and click your page sorter again, and it pops it back up. But what's nice about auto hide is it gets it out of your way when you don't need it. So if I go click onto my presentation, like if I'm teaching in front of the class, maybe I don't want the students to see all those pages on the side, so it gives you a little bit more space. But if you're actively working, or if you don't mind this being on the side, then you can just leave that off. Right, so it will automatically hide it. Like if I click over here, it stays. If I turn it on and I click back to my slide, it disappears. But it's as easy as going back to my side tab and turning it back on. It appears again until I click off of it. So that's pretty nice depending on what you're doing. Like I said, typically when I was teaching, I would have auto hide on. If I'm building my lesson, my slides and stuff, I usually would turn it off. That way I can always see where I am in my progress throughout the lesson in my page sorter. The next tab is called Gallery. The gallery is like a huge library that Smart provides within Smart Notebook of content that's copyright free and ready for you to use. Under pictures, you have a lot of clip art looking stuff, and you also have regular images and things that they're either copyright free or that they have created for you to use within your lesson. So there's all kinds of content already ready to go. You can also look at the other categories here. Interactive media is for me, one of the more exciting pieces. There's lots of things in here that are interactive. But instead of me trying to scroll through this and show it all to you, I'm going to show you this next feature where you can actually just search for it. So I can say, I want to search for, I know there's an interactive piece I like that's 100 square. So I'll search hundreds and click search and go down to interactive media, and it will bring up that one piece that fits that search. So here's the 100 square that I like, and it's just an example of an interactive media piece. So what this one does is you click it, and then the tiles turn over. So if we're learning to skip count by threes, this is a cool tool for you to use. But if you really just need to explore the gallery and see what stuff's there that you might be able to use. Just start searching and exploring. Over time, I've learned the ones I like, and the fastest way to find them is just to search them. Or if I say, ooh, I like this one and I don't want to have to search for it all the time, I can drag it into what's called My Content, and everything I put into My Content right here will automatically get categorized for you, and it'll be here for you to find later. And that's also kind of cool for me to show you in this way. If I, let's say this is true for any content. So if I have words or a drawing, so if I draw my flower that I just absolutely love, and I know I'm going to use this flower over and over again, I can take my flower and drag it into My Content, and you can see how it automatically classifies it as a picture. And later on, no matter, even if I'm in a completely different Smart Notebook file, I can pull this flower out and use it again and again whenever I want to. Some examples of what I put in here: I put my students' pictures in here. That way I can easily drag their pictures out when I'm ready to use them in a lesson. Or like the school's mascot, I use his image a lot in my lessons. So I would take Willie the Wildcat and take him and pull him out onto the slide. from my content. It's just it's content that I used over and over again. So I don't really need this. I'm going to delete it. But that's what my content folder does. It's kind of like a My Documents, but it's within Smart Notebook, and you can use it between all of your files. So any content you save here on this machine, as long as you're on the same computer, you'll be able to reuse it over and over again. So once again, you can search for all the different content. There's go back to essentials, are like all the categories of everything. Backgrounds, there's different background themes you can use. So that's another one I like to show you. I would usually search for handwriting, and there's a handwriting backgrounds where it gives you all kinds of lined paper that you can use. So it's like you can have my students come to the board and write on lined paper. There's all kinds of different formats and different size lines depending on your grade level and your purpose there. But I'm just going to hit undo because I don't really want to use that. But that's another one I liked, was handwriting, and there's all kinds of interactive tools that I like. But you just have to explore it. So just take your time to explore the gallery when you get a chance. So we just talked about the gallery. The next one I have is called attachments, and what this does, and it's not something I use a lot, but but what attachments does is it allows you to attach other files to this Smart Notebook file. So an example might be like a rubric. If you know when you do this lesson with your class that you are going to also want to use a certain rubric or another document as homework or something else, you can attach it here. That way you don't have to search your computer for it later. So it's kind of like, it's just like attaching something to an email. You're attaching a file here, and then later on when you do your lesson the next year or whatever, you'll have all those materials already attached right here on this one spot. And also if you share files out to students, you know, what other documents might they need as they complete whatever they're supposed to do on the Smart Notebook file that you're doing. So that's just fairly simple. All you have to do is insert, which will let you browse your computer and put files in this as attachments. The next one's is properties, and basically what that does is no matter what I'm dealing with on my slide, and let me just kind of do a star as an example. Any item, any text, no matter what the item is, if I select it, if I'm on this properties tab, it lets me see all the things I can do to it. What can I change and adjust? Now these things also show up at the top, but sometimes not everything is at the top depending on what type of item it is. So if you want to see every possible property that you can adjust on an item of no matter what it is, right? Ink, text, pictures, whatever it is, you select it, and if you have the marquee, then you just come over here. I can change all the fill effects, change what it looks like. So you can do that at the top, but this gives you a little bit more of every possibility that you can do. Gradient fill, that was something that was not at the top. That's not up here. So you have to come over to the properties tab to get every possibility that you could do here. So you have transparency, makes it invisible, but that's also at the top right here. That makes it clear so you can see through it. Right, so I can see through. I'll make it dark again. Line style, which just changes the thickness of the outside. Right, and you can change the color of the line that's on the outside. All right, and object animation will do things like allow it to fly in. That says fade in. Let's do fly in, and like from the bottom, and I want to do it slowly, and I want to do it when the object is clicked or when I enter the page. So I'll just say when it's clicked. And do you want it to repeat? Usually I don't, but you could. And what that means is when I come back and click it, it flies in. So there's all kinds of ways to make it fly out. You can make it like disappear. So those all go along with, that's all underneath animations. So object animations. So I can turn that off for now, but that's what that means. So that was all underneath properties. And then let's go to the next one, which is add-ons. When you go to add-ons, these are just extra features. And once again, I just don't have the ability to show you every feature within these. But GeoGebra is some cool tools for math. So if you have some advanced math teachers, you can share this with them and let them explore. They'll probably be able to pick up on it very quickly. Lesson Recorder is different than the Smart Recorder. The Lesson Recorder will only record what happens on the slide. And remember, the Smart Recorder lets you record anything. I can go take any window. I can record my whole desktop like I'm using right now. So I'm using the Smart Recorder right now. That's the one I like. But this actually records exactly what's on your slide. And if you draw, like, it appears on the screen as you draw it. So that's something you could explore, but typically I use this instead. Smart Blocks are fun to explore as well. They make doing simple little addition problems a little bit more interactive. It does take a little time to learn it, and like I said, I don't have time to show it to you, but you can explore it and find YouTube videos on any of this stuff to help you explore a little bit farther. And the one I do like here is called Activity Builder, and I'll try to show you a quick one, but I do have to kind of go fast to save your time. But basically, if you have a couple objects, um, let's say I want to go find a horse under pictures. So here's a picture of a horse, and I can come up here and search hay, image for hay, or that looks like straw. Maybe we can do a carrot. I'm trying to find things that a horse may eat. Basically, it's a way, kind of like those lesson activity builder activities, but you can customize them however you want to, and what's something that a horse should not eat. Maybe a rock, and we have a rock. And really simple what that means, we'll just use this rock for now. Okay, and we select our horse, and we go back to add-ons, and we select our horse, and we're going to edit that horse of what that horse will accept. And what all you have to do is say that the objects that are good go on top, so the carrots will get accepted onto the horse and the rock will get rejected. So it's easy as just dragging them on here. And I guess I have the star, even though that's not one I was thinking about. I can say that horse should not eat the star, so it's going to get rejected as well. The next thing is their settings. So once you drag all the good ones and all the bad ones, and then you go to settings, what do you want it to do? So if the student drags a correct one on top of the horse, do you want it to spin like, woohoo, you got it correct, or you can have it fade out, which means like it's going to disappear. That'll maybe kind of make it look like the horse ate it, right? It's a good answer. You can also attach sounds and have it play sounds. If it's wrong, you can have it do nothing and stay on top of the horse, or I like to have it bounce back, which means it goes back to where it came from. And once again, you could attach sounds to it as well. I'm going to hit done. And what this means now, if I say, oh, the horse, let's see if the rock is an acceptable answer. It got bounced back. It's wrong. Same thing with the star. It got bounced back. It's rejected. But the carrots, because I put it in the correct category, go in, and it fades away. So that's a quick little activity that you can do. And remember, that was under add-ons, and it's activity builder. And basically, you just have to put objects on your screen. It can be text. It can be drawings. It could be images like we have here. And basically, you select that image, go to activity builder, and then you can tell it what things are good for that image and what things are bad for that image, and then tell it what you want to do under settings, and it will accept them and reject them. It's a quick little activity you can create on your own. It takes a little bit more time than the activity builder, but it also can get a little bit more complicated than the activity builder as well. So that's kind of fun to play with. Now, I'm not going to spend any time on this one, but Smart Response, because it would take a lot more time, is a way for you to have students answer quiz questions through Smart Notebook files, and it takes time to roster a class, and the time it would take me to do that to show you is not really very beneficial for our purposes for our training that's coming up. So if you're interested in Smart Response, I would suggest going to YouTube and following some videos there. It's usually pretty straightforward, but for the basic stuff that we're going to be talking about, this would be a pretty advanced feature that we won't be hitting during the day that you're coming. All right, so we already talked about page sorter, the gallery, the attachments, properties, and add-ons.